My name is John, and I spend way too much time thinking about something that literally nobody talks about at dinner parties. How much money is just flowing down your drain? And I mean that literally. If you're someone who pays a water bill every month and has ever looked at it and thought, wait, how is this so expensive? Or if you're trying to cut your household expenses but you keep focusing on canceling Netflix instead of the stuff that actually matters, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. So here's the thing. I was looking at my water bill last month and it was $147. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, that's like 2 streaming services or half a phone bill or, a nice dinner out. But then I started doing the math, and this is where it gets really interesting. That's $1,764 a year. Over 10 years, that's $17,640. And if I invested that money instead at a conservative 7% return, that would grow to over $24,000. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't use water, obviously, but what I am saying is that most people are literally flushing thousands of dollars down the toilet without even thinking about it. Look, the average American family uses about 300 gallons of water per day, according to the EPA. 300 gallons! That's like filling up your bathtub 4 times every single day. And roughly 70% of that water is used indoors. Toilets alone account for nearly 30% of household water use. That's almost 90 gallons per day just from flushing. A leaky toilet can waste up to 200 gallons per day, and most people don't even know they have a leak until they get that surprise bill that makes them want to cry. Here's what most people don't realize. Water costs are rising faster than almost any other utility. Between 2010 and 2020, water rates increased by an average of 80% across major U.S. cities. 80% in 10 years, and it's not slowing down. Some municipalities are seeing increases of 5 to 10% per year. So when you're budgeting for next year, you can't just assume your water bill will stay the same. It won't. Now you might be thinking, okay, John, but water is essential. What am I supposed to do? Stop showering? And look, I get it, but here's where the psychology comes in. We treat water like it's infinite because when we turn on the tap, it just keeps coming. There's no immediate feedback loop like there is with, say, your gas tank. When your car is running low on gas, you see that needle drop, you feel that little anxiety spike, and you do something about it. But with water, you don't see anything until that bill shows up 30 days later, and by then you've already used it all. This is the same psychological trap that gets people with credit cards. The pain of payment is delayed, so the spending doesn't feel real in the moment. Behavioral economists call this temporal discounting. We heavily discount future costs in favor of present convenience. Every long shower, every time you let the water run while you're brushing your teeth, every load of laundry on the medium setting instead of small, it feels like nothing in the moment, but it all adds up. So let me break down the actual math on what a water conservation system can do for you. And I'm talking about a comprehensive approach here, not just putting a brick in your toilet tank like your grandpa did in 1975. I'm talking about low-flow fixtures, rainwater harvesting, gray water systems, smart irrigation controllers, the whole thing. Let's start with the easiest win, low-flow showerheads and faucet aerators. A standard showerhead uses about 2.5 gallons per minute. A low-flow showerhead uses 1.5 gallons per minute. If you take a 10-minute shower every day, that's a savings of 10 gallons per day, which is 3,650 gallons per year. Now, the average cost of water in the U.S. is about $1.50 per 1,000 gallons, but when you factor in sewage costs, which are usually tied to water usage, you're looking at more like $3 to $5 per 1,000 gallons total. Let's say $4. So that's about $14.60 saved per year per person. Multiply that by a family of 4, that's about $58 per year. Over 10 years, that's $580, and the showerhead costs like $20. But that's just the beginning. Here's where it gets really interesting. Toilets. If you've got an older toilet, pre-1994, you're using anywhere from 3.5 to 7 gallons per flush. Modern low-flow toilets use 1.6 gallons per flush or less. Some dual-flush models use as little as 0.8 gallons for liquid waste. The average person flushes about 5 times per day. Let's say you've got an old 5-gallon toilet. That's 25 gallons per day per person. Switch to a 1.6-gallon low-flow toilet, and you're down to 8 gallons per day per person. That's a savings of 17 gallons per day per person. For a family of 4, that's 68 gallons per day, which is 24,820 gallons per year. At $4 per 1,000 gallons, that's $99.28 saved per year per person. Over 10 years, that's $992.80. And if you invest that annual savings at 7%, you're looking at about $1,376 after 10 years. A new low-flow toilet costs between $150 and $400, let's say $300. Your payback period is about 3 years, and then it's pure profit. Now look, I know what you're thinking. John, this sounds great, but I don't have $300 lying around for a toilet, and I definitely don't have thousands for a whole water conservation system. And this is where most personal finance advice completely misses the point. Everyone tells you to save money, but nobody tells you how to find the money to make the investments that actually save you money. It's this vicious cycle. Here's the thing. Most municipalities offer rebates for water-efficient fixtures. You can get $50 to $200 back just for replacing a toilet. Some cities offer free low-flow showerheads and faucet aerators. You can literally get them installed for free. You've just got to do the research and actually apply for the programs. But most people don't because it feels like homework, and this is exactly why people stay broke. They won't spend 2 hours researching rebates that could save them thousands of dollars over the next decade, but they'll spend 2 hours scrolling through social media every single day. Let's give you a concrete example from my own life. I installed a rainwater harvesting system last year. Now this sounds fancy and expensive, but it really isn't. A basic system costs about $800 to $1,500 depending on your setup. Mine cost about $1,200. What it does is collect rainwater from my roof and stores it in a 300-gallon tank. I use that water for my garden and lawn irrigation. Here's the math. I was spending about $75 per month on watering my lawn and garden during the summer months, which in my area is about 6 months of the year. That's $450 per year. With the rainwater system, I've cut that by about 70%, so I'm saving $315 per year. My payback period is just under 4 years. After that, I'm pocketing an extra $315 every single year. Over 20 years, assuming a 5% annual increase in water rates, I'll save over $10,000. And that's not even counting the fact that I'm not putting strain on the municipal water supply during droughts, which means I'm not subject to water restrictions when everyone else is. But here's what most people don't realize, and this is the part that nobody talks about. Water conservation systems increase your property value. A study by the National Association of Realtors found that water-efficient homes sell for 3 to 5% more than comparable homes without water-saving features. On a $300,000 home, that's $9,000 to $15,000. So not only are you saving money every month, not only are you building equity through forced savings, but you're increasing the value of your largest asset. This is the kind of financial decision that compounds in multiple directions. You're saving on utilities, you're increasing property value, you're reducing your environmental impact, which protects you from future water scarcity issues, and you're building a skill set around home improvement that you can apply to other projects. It's the opposite of buying a new car, which loses value immediately, costs you more every year in insurance and registration, and teaches you nothing. Now let's talk about gray water systems, because this is where things get really powerful. Gray water is the relatively clean wastewater from your washing machine, bathroom sinks, and showers. It accounts for 50 to 80% of residential wastewater. Most people just send this down the drain into the sewage system, where it costs them money to process, but you can capture that water and reuse it for irrigation or even toilet flushing with the right setup. A simple gray water system for irrigation can cost as little as $500 to install yourself, or $1,500 to $3,000 if you hire it out. Let's say you capture and reuse 50 gallons per day. That's 18,250 gallons per year. At $4 per 1,000 gallons, you're saving $73 per year. Okay, that doesn't sound like much, right? But remember, water rates are increasing. In 10 years, with a 6% annual increase, you're saving about $100 per year. Over 20 years, you'll save approximately $2,500. And if you installed it yourself for $500, your ROI is 400%. Now look, I know what you're thinking. John, this sounds great, but I don't have $300 lying around for a toilet, and I definitely don't have thousands for a whole water conservation system. And this is where most personal finance advice completely misses the point. Everyone tells you to save money, but nobody tells you how to find the money to make the investments that actually save you money. It's this vicious cycle. Here's the thing. Most municipalities offer rebates for water-efficient fixtures. You can get $50 to $200 back just for replacing a toilet. Some cities offer free low-flow shower heads and faucet aerators. You can literally get them installed for free. You've just got to do the research and actually apply for the programs. But most people don't because it feels like homework, and this is exactly why people stay broke. They won't spend 2 hours researching rebates that could save them thousands of dollars over the next decade, but they'll spend 2 hours scrolling through social media every single day.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. Let's say you take that $500 per year and invest it. At 7% annual return after 30 years, that's over $50,000 from water conservation. This is money that most people are literally flushing down the drain without a second thought. And the beautiful thing is, once you install these systems, the savings are automatic. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to exercise willpower. You don't have to make a decision every single day to save money. The system does it for you. This is the fundamental difference between people who build wealth and people who stay broke. Wealthy people build systems that automatically move money in the right direction. Poor people rely on willpower and discipline, which eventually fail. You cannot willpower your way to wealth. You have to engineer it. Now, you might be thinking, okay, John, this all sounds great, but I rent. I can't install a rainwater harvesting system or a new toilet. And look, I get it. Renting does limit your options, but you can still do a lot. You can install low-flow shower heads and faucet aerators. Most landlords won't care, and some will actually appreciate it. You can fix leaky faucets with a $5 washer replacement. You can reduce your shower time by even just 2 minutes and save about 5 gallons per shower, which is 1,825 gallons per year, which is about $7 per year per person. And here's the thing about renting. Every dollar you save on utilities is a dollar you can put toward a down payment on your own place, where you can implement all these systems and really maximize your savings. The average renter in the U.S. spends about $70 per month on water and sewage. If you can cut that by 30% through behavioral changes and minor upgrades, that's $252 per year. Over 5 years, that's $1,260, which could be part of your down payment fund. But there's a bigger psychological issue here that we need to address. Most people feel powerless about their financial situation. They look at their income, they look at their expenses, and they feel like there's no room to maneuver. The rent is the rent, the car payment is the car payment, the student loans are the student loans. Everything feels fixed and unchangeable. And this learned helplessness is what keeps people trapped. But the truth is, there's almost always room to optimize. Not through deprivation, not through living like a monk and eating ramen every day, but through intelligent system design, through making one-time investments that pay dividends forever, through replacing wasteful systems with efficient ones, through being proactive instead of reactive. Let me give you the action steps here, because information without action is just entertainment. Here's what you need to do, and I want you to do this today, not someday, today. Step 1, read your water bill. Actually look at it. Find out how many gallons you're using per month. Most people have never done this. They just see the dollar amount and pay it. But you need to know your baseline. You cannot improve what you don't measure. Step 2, do a home water audit. Go around your house and check every faucet, every toilet, every outdoor spigot. Is anything leaking? Even a small leak, like 10 drips per minute, wastes about 350 gallons per year. That's $1.40, which doesn't sound like much, but if you have 3 leaky faucets and a leaky toilet, you're wasting over 1,000 gallons per year and about $4 to $6 in water costs. More importantly, you're training your brain to accept waste, and that mentality bleeds into every other area of your financial life. Step 3, start with the easy wins. Install low-flow shower heads and faucet aerators. These take literally 10 minutes to install, require no special skills, and start saving you money immediately. You can buy a multi-pack on Amazon for like $30 and outfit your whole house. Step 4, check for rebates and incentives in your area. Go to your water utilities website right now Search for water conservation rebates plus your city name. I guarantee you there are programs you don't know about. Some cities offer free home water audits. Some offer rebates on rain barrels, efficient washing machines, smart controllers. The list goes on. This is free money, and you're leaving it on the table. Step 5, if you own your home, make a plan for bigger upgrades. Prioritize based on ROI. Usually it's toilets first, then a rainwater harvesting system if you have irrigation needs, then gray water if you're really committed. You don't have to do everything at once. In fact, you shouldn't. Do one project per year, make sure it's working well, then move on to the next one. Step 6, change your behavior. This is the hardest part, but it's also free. Turn off the water while you brush your teeth. That saves about 4 gallons per brushing, which is 2,920 gallons per year per person if you brush twice a day. Take shorter showers. Run full loads of laundry and dishes. Water your lawn in the early morning or late evening to minimize evaporation. These are tiny changes that feel like nothing in a moment, but they compound. Look, here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. The reason most people struggle financially isn't because they don't make enough money. It's because they have no idea where their money is going, and they've never taken the time to engineer their life for efficiency. They accept waste as normal. They think that's just what things cost, but it isn't. Things cost what they cost because of the systems you've chosen, either consciously or by default. And water is just one example. The same principles apply to electricity, heating and cooling, food waste, transportation, all of it. Your financial life is a system, and every part of that system is either optimized or it isn't. Most people are running their financial lives on default settings, settings that were designed to extract maximum money from them while providing minimal value, and then they wonder why they can't get ahead. The difference between someone who builds wealth and someone who stays broke isn't usually income, it's intentionality. It's the willingness to spend time up front engineering systems that save time and money forever. It's understanding that a $30 investment in low-flow showerheads is actually a $580 investment over 10 years. It's seeing the invisible compounding effects of small decisions. And here's the thing that gives me hope. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you understand that your home is a system, that your finances are a system, that your entire life is a system that can be optimized, everything changes. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start being an engineer of your own prosperity. So yeah, we're talking about water conservation here, but we're really talking about something much bigger. We're talking about taking control. We're talking about refusing to accept waste and inefficiency as normal. We're talking about building a life where your home works for you instead of against you, where your systems automatically move you toward wealth instead of poverty, where you're proactive instead of reactive. This isn't sexy. Nobody's going to throw you a party because you installed a low-flow toilet, but in 10 years, you'll have an extra $10,000 to $20,000 in your investment account from water savings alone, and that's just water. Imagine if you applied this same thinking to every area of your life. The path to wealth isn't complicated. It's just unsexy. It's doing the boring math, making the smart investments, building the efficient systems, and then letting time and compound interest do their thing. Most people won't do this. They'll keep flushing money down the drain, literally and figuratively, because thinking about this stuff is uncomfortable and boring. But you're not most people. If you watch this far, you're someone who's willing to do the work. So go do it. Start today. Your future self will thank you.